Good evening, fellow YouTubers. Today we are going to be reviewing Alexander Keith's India Pale Ale. This is one of the first beers that I've ever had. I had it, I don't know how old I was, 15, 16 years old. And I remember liking it. However, my beer palate has changed, so let's see how I feel about it now. We pop open the top, only to realize it's a twist off. I don't know if you can see it, but you can see the grooves going around, so it's a twist off top. It needs a bottle opener, and we pour it into our standard mug. Glug, 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 glug. Let's see how it pours. It's very pale. It almost looks like an adjunct lager. I'm not sure if Alexander Keith's use adjuncts in their beer. I smell a little bit of corn, but what do I know? This is classified as an English India Pale Ale, so not quite as hop heavy as American India Pale Ales. English India Pale Ales are more milder in flavor, and I'm not getting a lot of hops for an IPA. This to me smells more like a standard pale ale. But as you can see from the pour, it's a standard pale yellow color, thin layer of head. I'm not getting much retention or lacing. Smells like the lightest hops you've ever had. I'm not detecting a lot of hops, which is disappointing considering IPAs are supposed to be very hop heavy. This is light on the nose, bready caramel, floral hops, a little bit of grassiness, and I am smelling a little bit of corn. So, yeah, Alexander Keith probably used adjuncts in their ale. How does it taste? Light hoppy taste. I'm getting a little bit of orange and grapefruit peel. Buttery notes, faint floral hops. But it's definitely not all there. This is a weak pale ale, not an India pale ale at all. Mouthfeel is medium bodied, little thin. And a touch on the dry side. This is a mass-produced beer. It's not a craft brew like I've been usually doing on the show, but I figure this beer has a bit of nostalgia value for me, so I'll give it a try. I don't think it's the first beer I've ever had. The first beer I've ever had, I think, was a Labatt Blue, but it's one of the first beers I've had. And as I said, I remember liking it as a kid. Now, I don't hate it. I just find it very bland, especially considering it's classified as an English India Pale Ale. This is more of a standard pale ale to me. Alcohol content, I believe, yep, standard 5%. This will, to me, I will have this usually at the cheap bars where they don't serve any better beer. Of course, I never find myself in those cheap bars, so what does it matter? I can see myself having this after mowing the lawn on a hot day. It is a little bit refreshing, probably because it's so bland in flavor and a little bit watery. Final rating, I'll give it a 5, 5.5 out of 10. It's average, it's a little bit bland, it's not that flavorful, especially considering it's marketing itself as an IPA. I can see why I liked it as a kid because, I mean, it's not offensive, but there's nothing there to take offense at. The flavor is just very, excuse me, very weak. I had more flavor in the burp I just did. If you are one of the big five drinkers, you don't like craft beer, or you're stuck in a rut, drinking Budweiser, Labatt's, Molson, Miller, Coors Light, I'd recommend this beer because this beer has a little bit more depth and more flavor than your Coors Light, your Canadian, your Labatt Blue. And chances are you might like it if you're not already drinking it. But for a beer connoisseur, don't bother picking it up unless you're really curious. I mean, it's sold at a premium price, and it's by no means a premium beer. Oh, excuse me again. And again. I picked it up for nostalgic purposes and to do this review. And unless I'm at a bar where, the usual bars around here, they serve Labatt Blue, Molson Canadian, Coors Light, Corona, Heineken, if you're lucky, Moosehead, and Alexander Keith's. I might pick it up at one of those locations. Otherwise, I'm just, never going to have this beer again. I've got 4 more bottles of it. It'll probably be gone by the end of the day or tomorrow simply because it's so bland and watery. What else am I gonna... I'm not gonna save it for anything. And yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. Stay tuned for my next review. When I picked up the Alexander Keith's, I noticed they had a Granny Smith apple cider. I've had Strongbow cider before. I kind of liked it. It's not my favorite drink. I prefer beer overall, but cider has its place, and I am going to be reviewing the... I believe it's a company called Granny, and it's a Granny Smith apple cider they had at the LCBO. That cider and a peach flavored cider, and I love Granny Smith apples, so I have high hopes for the Granny Smith apple cider. Take care.